Well, at the Civilization Museum, I'd like to film you the artifacts and show you the exhibition here, which is really worth seeing. So firstly, the ramp you see there leads to the royal mummies, but it is not allowed to take photos there, and that's why I will walk just upstairs showing you the artifacts here. The museum is not that big, but it is really worth seeing, and the artifacts here are really so interesting. I will try to film them, the whole place here. So I will move slowly. As you see, it is very busy. So here you see pieces from the stone era, which is a human skeleton. It is 35,000 years old. By the way, the skeleton you see is the oldest piece in the museum. Here, for someone was dead in his prime. And here are his tools, which are made of stone, and even knives. And that's why the era itself is known as the Stone Era. I'm trying to let you see the whole museum and the whole exhibition. Here are some monuments from the pre-dynastic era, which is so close to the time of the pharaohs. But in fact, before the first dynasty. And that's why it is known as the pre-dynastic era, where most of things at that era were made of pottery, as we see. But they had good art, as we see even a statue for a hippo. Let's walk around, and now we see from the time of the pharaohs. So here is just a statue for a woman. A woman is carrying her children, as we see. It was found in a tomb. Let's see these statues over there for regular people from the time of the pharaohs, who loved even to make statues of themselves, showing themselves in daily activities as they are making food, as you see, and making bread, and a woman is waiting in front of the oven for food to be baked. Even here we see matches, and we see here even mummified bread and statues of regular people working in daily life. Let's see here some royal symbols, like the two pillars at the back, which are colorful, as we see. They are known as Jed pillar of stability. And here we see some royal symbols where the pharaohs used to hold them in their hands. Interestingly, here we can see some tools for the architecture. So we can see, for example, plumb bobs to measure the straightness of vertical and horizontal floors and walls. At the back, a statue for a very popular architect. And here are models of the soul houses that were kept even in the tombs of the pharaohs. I'm trying to choose the pieces that don't have a lot of visitors around. So here we can see a silo for saving the grains. They would fill it from the top, and for the daily use, they would take from the bottom. Some tools for the agriculture, as we see sickles and axe. And here a statue and ropes. The statue, in fact, for the surveyor who had to measure lands and to determine borders between people, and ropes you see were the main tools for that purpose. As I said, the museum is really worth seeing, a very good place to see. And here you can see symbolic boats from the time of the pharaohs. Symbolic boats from the time of the pharaohs were kept in the tombs, as we see it. In fact, the ancient Egyptians have made boats for sailing in real life, while symbolic boats and kept in the tombs for the journey to the afterlife. Here is a small one to be very clear, and this is a big one, and the oars and the design of the boat is perfect. We can see here a statue for the scribe. We are first people to read and write since the time of the pharaohs. Look at the beautiful hair wig, is amazing. And here you can see some pens for writing. And here are some rulers. And here you see a statue for the ibis bird, who was the god of writing, even was considered as the divine scribe in ancient Egypt. And here we can see a colorful tent. People in ancient Egypt have used tent for multiple purposes, even for hunting journeys, even for soldiers in the war. So it was heavily or widely used in ancient Egypt, and this is the only surviving tent from the time of the pharaohs. It is 3,000 years old, was made for a princess. Her father was a commander of the army, and her grandfather was a king of Egypt. 3,000 years old is the age of the tent. You see it here, colorful, amazingly made as we see. Now we are talking about a treasure was found inside one tomb, was made for a well-known artist, had to decorate and paint the royal tombs. We could find monuments for 3 generations inside his tomb, for himself and his wife, and for the children and for the grandchildren. Here are 2 masks, one for his wife and one for his daughter-in-law, and some vases. These masks were put on the mummy to make the face recognizable for the soul to bring life back, to revive dead people. And here is his own coffin, wooden, and in fact it is colorful and decorated, a lot of details, and look at even the facial features, which are amazingly made, and the decoration. God Anubis, the jackal god of the mummification. Beautiful scenes and art, and the monuments you see were found inside one tomb. So far, even this game, you see it here. You see the game, which looks like a chess. You can even consider it as a prototype chess, the oldest chess ever made in history. So all of these monuments were taken or were discovered inside the tomb of the artist in Luxor. Even with the next coffin you are going to see, for the same artist. I'm trying to film all of the beautiful decoration and the art of the coffin from all sides. So far we are talking about the same tomb, the tomb of the artist, and here you see the beautiful artifacts that we discovered inside the tomb. Look at the beautiful small statues that were made and decorated, and in fact they were made to be symbolic servants for serving dead people. Look at the beautiful chair. Colorful, nicely designed and shaped. Those people had an amazing taste. Look at the beautiful box and the art. Look even at the hand of the box on the top. I'm walking around to let you see it from a close distance. And here you can see the hand and the top of the box. Fully decorated from all sides, as you see. Let's move to an amazing piece there, which is even, it is even a part of a chariot, the little part from the chariot, which is the front part, nicely decorated with the military scenes showing the king riding a chariot running over the enemies, and even prisoners in the bottom are tied to Papyrus and Lotus, which means that they are tied and defeated to the united Egypt. The scenes of the battles are amazingly made, as you see. Let's move around to see beautiful art on the side here, where you see the king even himself riding that chariot and shooting the enemies. You can see even, and here you see the chariot is running over the enemies. You can see behind the king a god is supporting him, supporting each arm to shoot as far as much. Fully decorated, and a divine soul, as you see it here, is holding a fan, fanning the king when the king is fighting. Here you can see the top of the fan, and this is the stick of the fan. If you move down, you see it, and here you see the divine soul is holding it. Over 3,300 years old, fully decorated, as we see. Beautiful pieces are on display everywhere here at the museum. You should come to enjoy wonderful visit. Interestingly, you can see here makeup boxes, and you can see eyeliners, you can see combs even from the time of the pharaohs, and here you see the spoons for the powder of the makeup, and there you see a tablet stone with decorated with a face of woman, and there you see mirrors that are made of metals. They were so shiny that people could see themselves. All of these monuments are from the time of the pharaohs, older than 3,000 years old. I'd like to show you some musical instruments. You can see here cymbals for belly dancers and flutes. And here here is a very big flute. And from this side you can see harp. Moving around the museum, I'd like to show you here the oldest prosthesis. A toe was made for a woman who had lost her big toe in a surgery. And here you can see some surgical tools. More tools for surgery, surgical tools. And here you see a tablet stone showing you giving birth in ancient Egypt. What was the position of giving birth? A woman, as you see, is sitting in the shape of a squat, and here on right and left hands you see goddesses of birth are helping her to give birth. Beautiful baskets, you see them here from ancient Egypt. They look very new, they are highly preserved, and they are so similar to what we use nowadays. They are made of papyrus and halfa plants. Amazingly preserved, as we see. Moving around to see here a beautiful tiny scale and the small pieces here to measure the amount. And here is the scale itself. And big pieces you see up there for big amounts. Even for a lot or big amount, it would be so big pieces to measure the weight. I'm trying to film for you as much as possible to make it in one video. So I'm done now with the time of the pharaohs. I like to show you more pieces even from the Roman era as a gilded wooden coffin. You see it here, nicely made and shaped and gilded wood. The facial features are amazingly made, and the decoration on the coffin is so attractive piece. It is about 3,000 years old.
She was so tired that day, she had to go and nap.
Here we can see a golden treasure. A golden treasure, you see it here, in fact, from the Roman era, from the 2nd century. Pure gold. You see beautiful and big necklaces, crown, small jewelries, bracelets, and rings and earrings. Another beautiful necklace, another one. So beautiful golden treasure from the Roman era, from the 2nd century AD. Now we are done with the section for the time of the pharaohs. Now I'm walking around to show you the other section. It is for the Coptic and the Islamic era. Amazing pieces were taken from the old churches of Egypt from the 4th and 5th centuries AD. So the artifacts here are made for the Coptic and the Islamic era. So we see here a beautiful piece was taken from a church, in fact, and here you see even the holy book, the Bible, for the Christian. An amazing window was taken from a mosque. Look at the size, even is huge. Small windows you see in the screen wall here were made for women to open the small window to see what is outside, what is happening, and nobody could see her. Amazingly shaped, and the colorful glass and the stucco frame of the glass window are really attractive. So I'm walking around now the Islamic and the Coptic section of the Civilization Museum. Here you see Torah cases. They were made to house the holy book of the Jews in Egypt. Made of silver, gold, wood, and velvet mixed together. A very beautiful art. Amazing ceramics vessels, you see them here. Look at the beautiful art and the decoration. They are so amazing, and in fact they are from the 11th century AD. It is from the Islamic era, and here you see the pulpit of a mosque where someone had to go upstairs and to sit down there and to explain the religion to people who go to the mosque to pray. Amazing amount of ivory, as you see, is decorating the door of the pulpit. A basin and ewer. In fact, they were made in Egypt since even the time of the pharaohs for washing hands and face, for the purification, and that was kept used even in the medieval era. And the piece you see it here from even the Mamluk era, it is, which began from 1250 AD until 1517. An amazing piece of art. Oh, here we see beautiful lamps. Were taken from mosques. Look at the beautiful decoration and the beautiful art on the glass. The museum is worth seeing, is amazingly designed and shaped and filled with real treasures. Here we see a beautiful carpet was taken from a mosque, and in fact it is from the 19th century. A beautiful box for the Holy Book Quran, made of copper, silver and gold and wood, all mixed together. Gilded wood inlaid with silver, copper and gold, to contain the Holy Book Quran, as you see even inside. Look at the beautiful art from outside and the calligraphy, writing, amazing. Another beautiful box here, nicely decorated and shaped, made to contain the Holy Book. Here we can see a beautiful piece of art, which is even a copper table. So this is the stand of the table, and they would put the tray above, and people could have dinner. So a chair would be on each side of the table. If two people, for example, would have dinner, and the tray would be on the top containing the meal, and they would eat. And here you can see examples of the trays made of copper and decorated with or inlaid with silver even. Amazing pieces. They are from the 15th century AD. Another wooden box, here you see it, made to contain the Holy Book Quran. Look at the calligraphy, is amazingly made, and the box itself is quite big. It is so big, and in fact it is from the Mamluk era. An amazing piece, shaped and designed. An amazing museum worth seeing. And here you see the fabric casing of the holy stone of Muslims in Mecca, where they travel every year, to practice the pilgrimage. As you see, amazingly shaped and designed, made of velvet and cotton and linen, and the decoration is so attractive. We always sent the fabric casing of the holy black stone in Saudi Arabia to decorate it. So it was made in Egypt and sent to them in a parade. And even here you see a small tent. That small tent was kept on a camel, and the parade would travel from Egypt to Saudi Arabia. Amazingly shaped and decorated and designed, as we see. Very beautiful piece, and the art is so attractive. Now we see beautiful statues showing you the typical dress of women in specific places in Egypt. It is not for all people in Egypt here. This is for very specific area, like Bedouin people who live in the desert, or even women who live around farmlands. And here is a typical jewelry that they always love to wear. beautiful necklaces made in very traditional design for those women who live around the farmlands in the rural areas, especially desert or even the countryside of Egypt. So this was an attempt to film to you the artifacts and the exhibition in the museum here. I hope it was successful and enjoyable to you. The place is amazing. You should come. Down here is a way to see the royal mummies. I advise to come. You will enjoy and have a wonderful time. This was Amr Ahmed, a tour guide in Egypt, an Egyptologist, a tour guide, and an excellent photographer as well. So if you are interested in booking any tours in Cairo, Alexandria, Luxor, you can easily message me on WhatsApp. WhatsApp number +2 01 222 478 510 +2 01 222 478 510. Amr Ahmed. I hope to come to enjoy wonderful visit, and Egypt is worth seeing. It is a mother of land where history began. Thanks.